cracked. Got my knuckle.
Round two.
All right, knuckles
Fight.
cracked. Let's do this. All right, welcome back, everyone. This is Go4LoL number 53, I believe, and I have OptimusTom casting with me today. And this is the okay, that's awkward. And we have TGF as we're following their team, and this is the fourth match, I believe, round 4, and it is against. Now we're going with Fooox, like linked in the R or the O, because we don't think it's Fooox, and we're thinking it involves like Star Fox game, like when he dies.
Fox.
Exactly. I expect you to refer to them by name now for that said blue team.
Okay, I will. Don't worry. I got Fox and TGF.
All right, let's go into picks again real quick. We saw last game that TGF ran Shyvana, Udyr, and Orianna, and they are in the same positions, but this time they're running Tristana, Alistair, where last game they had Kog'Maw, Nunu. And I am really excited to see that bot lane because it's going to be devastating for them. And for Fox, we have Warwick top lane, Ryze middle, Nunu support, Graves is obviously AD, and we have Fiddlesticks jungle, which I almost expect Koala to actually gank him in his own jungle, to be honest, because Fiddlesticks is kind of really slow and is kind of really weak. Like, he can't really kill anyone, and he's easily killed. At least he could blow a flash on him. And yeah, you can go ahead and say something now. I guess I should shut up.
I just am very perplexed by this Fiddlesticks jungle as well. Like you said, he's a little bit slower of a jungler, and by comparison to, let's say, an Udyr, or taking a look at the other picks, even a Shyvana or a Warwick that could have been in the jungle, or even a Nunu that could have been in the jungle, Fiddlesticks he doesn't really have much gank potential until he hits level 6, and then he just pops an ultimate, and if they are as diligent at warding as they were last game, and if Koala picks up the Oracle's elixir like he did last game, then I don't see this Fiddlesticks jungler being super effective at all, because he's just going to be shut down by excellent coverage from TGF.
Exactly. Actually, what I'd like to have seen, instead of a Nunu support, maybe a Sona support. Because if you have a good Sona ulti with a Fiddlesticks ulti, it is devastating.
I don't exactly know what the Nunu is going to come to give to this Graves in the bottom lane. Although he does have the Blood Boil, which is always a good thing to have on your AD, no matter what your composition can be running. But Nunu is taking heal this time around. We saw TGF taking him last game, I believe, without a heal. So at least he has something to contribute to the sustain in the bottom lane. But overall, it's probably going to have to be an aggressive play in the bottom lane. But on the opposite side, we have TGF running Tristana and Alistar, which between the headbutt pulverize combo and Tristana being able to jump in, plus it's Firefighter Tristana, so that's automatically like an extra 10 bonus points.
And the new Ryze skin. Ooh. Sorry, go ahead. I haven't seen the new Ryze skin yet.
I've seen it once or twice in game. It's pretty cool. I'm not going to lie, but it's no Firefighter Tristana. But as I was saying, in the bottom lane, that Alistar and Tristana, they're going to be able to be a little bit more aggressive than Graves and Nunu, I think, and it's going to wind up putting that Graves Nunu a little more on the back pedal. So I'm going to have to give TGF a little bit of an advantage just in the loading screen talk about that bottom lane composition. But I could be proven wrong. Last game we saw Pinku had a really good Nunu, and this time we'll see if Fox has a very good Nunu as well.
Wow, your Skype thing does not want to get the hell off my screen. All right, there we go.
It's just that adorable picture of me.
Yeah, I'm actually hoping for a lot of aggression bottom lane with Alistair and Tristana, because Nunu doesn't have flash to get away, so you'll blow his exhaust, you blow his heal, which won't be that effective with Tristana's healing debuff. Oh, I need to add the overlay. Hold on. And I don't know. I'm hoping for a lot of action down there. And we're seeing TGF is going to go ahead and invade. They really don't let this Fiddlesticks good blue who started out with the Dorn's Ring. So, he doesn't have any mobility to get away. And I believe he did just spot that Udyr going into there. I wasn't looking at vision, but I am now. But they can see him, obviously, if you're checking it out. And they might just be waiting middle. I don't know. They don't really have a CV to check anything, to check their own blue buff.
This Warwick actually getting dangerously close. They probably know they are there because Warwick's just kind of walking towards the middle turret saying like, hey, I'm all by myself. You might want to jump out on me. Which actually wasn't a good idea because Fiddlesticks was the only other one around. So. But yes, that Fiddlesticks is going to be very reliant on that blue buff early on. He doesn't have any health potions or anything to help sustain him through the jungle if that blue buff gets taken. So here we go. TGF is going to go make a move on Fiddlesticks' blue buff. We see pings going all around by Fox. They might try to counter with Udyr's blue, but Alistar very wisely putting a ward over there right away. So therefore they're going to see if Fox goes over to that blue buff and takes it instead, or There's no real other jungle pattern for Fiddlesticks to take, though. That blue buff with the drain is going to be extremely, extremely important. But Fiddlesticks hasn't taken a level 1 skill yet
Neither has
either.
Udyr. I was actually going to point that out. I was just checking out. We have Tristan's Rocket Jump. We have Alish's Knock Up. We have Oriana's Q. But he hasn't picked anything yet. So maybe he'll pick Bear Stance to go for an early kill here. I don't know. I really want to see what happens. And like you're saying, the ward they have at their own blue buff is really smart. And hopefully we'll see something happen here. I'm really hoping for it. Oh, wow. Look at that perfect timing. They are spotted, though, by that Rise, so they will be backing out. And Udyr, actually, sorry, Alistair will be late to lane now, but Tristana being very smart backing out and actually heading down there to not miss out on too much XP.
Alistair's actually recalling right away to try to get down there as soon as possible. That Tristan is going to miss out on a little CS and a little XP. Actually, yeah, Udyr taking the blue buff from Fiddlesticks. Now he's making his way over and around towards his Wraith. Might be trying to come and take Udyr's blue buff. I'd like to see Udyr immediately go over there. It looks like that might be what he's doing, trying to go over and get that blue buff before Fiddlesticks can do anything. But this is going to really, really hinder his Fiddlesticks farm and leveling in the jungle. He's actually going for an early red buff now.
Yeah, I mean, that's completely understandable. He might be able to gank top as well. Like, there's no point in necessarily taking his blue because he still has a ward on it, so he will be able to see for another. Actually, you can't see ward timers as a spectator. That's cool. But
Yeah, that's not cool. It's about 3/4 of the way done, so I can only assume there's about like 45 seconds left on it.
yeah, so you would know if he's going to be going for that blue buff. So if he does, they'll be able to gank him. So I guess he's trying to let that blue to kind of taunt that Fiddlesticks and maybe kind of maybe he might be going to split Oriana. I would assume he would be, or maybe taking it for some quick levels so he can gank really easily.
I'm going to assume Udyr's going to take it. I would love to see Oriana get an extremely quick blue buff, be able to harass this Rise around in the lane even more so than she's going to be able to by zoning him out with that ball of hers. But Udyr looks like he is going to take it, get that level advantage. This is the second time we've seen Koala in both games getting a very, very early advantage over the enemy jungler. He's already a level ahead right now.
Right. So I have to tap out, guys, for that to see the next split. But we saw some action going on top lane, too. We saw Shyvana pushing that Warwick out of lane, and one thing about playing lane wick is that you have to be really aggressive in the beginning. Not see enemy champion, but you have to push your lane. And sorry, we see some action going in the middle. Udyr trying to attack this Rise and gets him about half health, but does not get to blow any summoners. But like I was saying, Warwick, you have to push your lane super hard to get the levels that you need because you're really squishy early on. You need to definitely get your Q leveled up and your E as well to kind of help get away if you get the enemy low. But you just have to be aggressive, and that's what he's doing right now. And he is running heavy armor runes and magic resist, so he should be a force to reckon with, to be honest, in lane. I've had like some experience playing him, and he just becomes an immovable object if you can get that mana regen on him.
He really, really does. But this Shyvana is also going to be adept at pushing her lane out and then giving her a little bit of a breathing room to kind of do that Shyvana thing where she runs around and counter jungles the crap out of the enemy jungler, which between her and Koala's Udyr, that's going to be a real pain for Fiddlesticks. If we see Udyr, I believe, is hit level 4 already. Fiddlesticks is still only level 3 and actually has nothing left in his jungle as you see his Wraiths just respawning in a couple seconds. That Fiddlesticks is just so far behind without that blue buff, although he is doing a very good job staying alive. He did have to go back already from his jungle, though, so a little unfortunate for that Fiddlesticks is Udyr is now just going back with that level advantage on him, so I don't know. I just like pointing out the fact that counter jungling so good. People need to do it more.
Yeah, one thing he's being smart, though. He's not trying to gank. He just needs levels. He just straight needs levels. Don't worry about ganking. Let your lane just play a little passive. Because once you get level 6, you'll be able to gank, and you'll be able to keep up with the during levels since he will be trying to gank. And we see Alice actually doing a little bit of action here on this Graves, and Tristana jumps on him as well. Bloods that Nunu heal. So that is one summoner down now at bot lane, where Nunu does not have heal anymore, but Graves still has his flash and his cleanse. So actually kind of interested to see that Graves is actually running cleanse at the moment, because they only have one stun that can really affect him.
Running that cleanse is a little bit of an awkward choice. You see Fiddlesticks actually coming in for a gank. Actually, Graves will take down this Tristana all by himself, having to pop the rocket jump to get out of there. The cool little water animation going too.
Yeah, in the meantime, at middle, Udyr actually ganked again, and they were able to kill that Rise, who actually got this Oriana extremely low. So that is first blood for Oriana. Let's see how much gold she has. She is about 1,200, so she'll be able to back. Maybe go for parts of the Catalyst. I'm not sure exactly what she's going to go for, but it'd be really smart for her to do that against a Rise who can just harass all day once he gets his tier. And we see some action going on top. Udyr is actually making his way now top lane onto his Warwick. And if Warwick does pop his flash, and Udyr will be able to keep up with him just because he has his boots, movement speed, boots, and bear. But Shyvana's just going to back out and just keep farming and deny that Warwick some XP, who will have to back out now and get a ward since his flash is down.
Yeah, you did say that Warwick did have to apply pressure early on in order to make sure he's getting those levels and apply pressure into his lane. He did a great job of, after being pushed back to his tower, pushing it back onto that Shyvana. As you saw Shyvana below half health, having to get that Udyr gang. Udyr zoning Warwick out, actually causing him to go back to buy some items. Shyvana's going to do the same thing, so we're probably going to see that lane stabilize in the middle, but as soon as Warwick gets back up there, like he said, he's going to be pushing that lane, pushing that lane. I would expect Udyr kind of maybe go top a little more often.
And
he's not ganking middle again.
yep, go ahead.
Oh, actually coming down, getting a bear stance off on this rise. Getting him extremely, extremely low, but not low enough to pick up a kill. Fiddlesticks comes in from the middle. We saw something going down on the bottom. We'll talk about it in just a second. Orianna getting a very long distance protect onto that Udyr, barely saving him as that Fiddlestick got him extremely, extremely low. So nothing going on in the middle lane, but there was something down on the bottom lane while we were talking about
I managed to catch that at least. We saw, well, Nunu had to pop exhaust on a previous engage that Alistar did, and he was out of summoners at bottom, and Graves, he did have his flash up, but Tristan and Alistar were able to do so much damage to him and get that ignite off onto him, or at least Tristan's healing debuff. They were able to kill him barely, but just barely. And that Tristana actually backed earlier from that aggression by Graves, where she jumped over the wall at bottom river. She picked up a Doran's blade, and back in lane, stronger than ever. And we see Graves actually picking up his attack speed boots. So maybe he's trying to go for some really hard damage onto that Alistar Tristana with that Blood Boil, and Nunu's actually only level 1 of his Blood Boil, so it kind of doesn't really sync too well. It's not really good synergy yet, but give it some time and it'll really work out for him.
The thing is, Graves is already going to be getting an attack speed boost from that quick draw of his, so attacking at basically the speed of light early on is not going to be a bad thing. Plus, if he's able to position himself better with the movement speed bonus and the quick draw positioning to get a full buckshot off onto that Tristana, that's 3 different ways of pain coming out of Graves' gun there. And Tristana, being a little bit squishier, she does have those double Doran's blades though to get a little bit more health, actually popping above 1,000 HP right now. That's a little impressive. But she's going to be able to survive. She's going to have to be able to survive, actually, those buckshots, as Graves with the superior movement speed is really going to get into a position where she doesn't want to have to burn that rocket jump to get away from one of his skills that she's not wanting to take to the full front to the face. So good choice on the double Doran's blade on the back.
I actually want to point out that they had a red or a pink ward on Fiddlesticks Blue, and they weren't able to capitalize on. Actually, sorry, Fiddlesticks had a pink ward on his own blue to prevent them from counter jumping him too hard. So that's a really smart job on his part to actually make sure he gets that blue buff and is really close to level 6 right now. So hopefully we'll be starting to see some really exciting ganks from him coming down. And Udyr is kind of just camping in the middle a little bit. He really wants to help out that Orianna and really deny that Bryce from building that early MR, which makes him so strong.
Udyr is coming down through the middle again, making that rise just barely back up, but Fiddlesticks is 6, hiding in this bush. Bottom lane did have a ward. He had to walk by in the river, so he's actually going to fall back on this one. But, ooh, that Udyr pressure in the middle just made Orianna pick up a kill on that rise.
Yeah, I missed that one, unfortunately, but we're seeing a little sandwich effect happening where Fiddlesticks kind of caught out of position, but Udyr is actually going to be feeding his blue buff to Orianna. It looked like Fiddlestick actually kind of wanted to get it, but he really needs to pick up that early oracles if he can afford it to really make it so he can gank anything, because he's so dependent on his ultimate, and by having that oracles he's able to gank lanes quite consistently. And we're seeing him try to sneak into this bush right here, but there is a ward there, so they will see it coming, and they both just back out. They're wasting Fiddlestick's time, who's not leveling. He's just sitting in lanes trying to get some ganks off and not really accomplishing anything.
And we did see Tristana often use the rocket jump because she knows that Fiddlesticks is down in that bush, not just because Graves ran up with the quick draw and was going to get a buckshot off on her. So Tristana being able to outposition the enemy jungler here, he has no idea that they could see him still. He's just sitting in that bush. He doesn't exactly know why or what's going on, but they're just doing a great job of keeping this Fiddlesticks in their lane, harassing down on this Graves. Look at Graves up top. They're just taking pot shots at him. He's slowly taking more and more damage, and he doesn't have that sustained healer like Alistar for that Tristana. He has that Nunu, whose summoner heal was blown earlier and a little bit of an awkward engagement down by their tower. It is back up now, but he doesn't really want to blow that now. He wants to save it for the heat of a real fight, but Graves is already extremely low. Now he is sitting where that Fiddlesticks is, and they know both of them are chilling in the same position.
Yeah, I thought it was really funny is that Graves was trying to bait them in by getting low health, but all he did was just force himself to have to back because they have a ward in that bush. Like, they're just not able to get this gank off, and I can't see the timer on that ward, but I'm assuming it's going out pretty soon. And we're seeing Udyr actually pick up another early Oracle,
Ooh,
so...
here comes the ultimate on the bottom. Fiddlesticks pops the ultimate and it hits absolutely nothing as Tristana and Alistar just turned around as soon as it was being channeled. So wasted ultimate, wasted timer on Fiddlesticks' blue buff as that is basically done with right now. Gray's at half HP being kept in lane when he wanted to go back and maybe even buy some items. He's going to be recalling right now with about 1.4k under his belt, a little less than that. So he wants to go back and buy, but... just wasting so much time for this Udyr. Meanwhile, go around the jungle. He still has about a level on that Fiddlesticks now, and they picked up a kill on Ryze in the middle earlier. I didn't exactly know how because he died by his tower, and Orianna was by her tower. So,
Yeah, actually, this Orianna has gotten 11-minute ROA, which is not good for that Ryze at all. She's gonna have so much sustain in lane, and not to mention, I'm hoping to see them go for Dragon here, so she'll have even more money to maybe get her sword boots to really hurt that Ryze. Who let's see. He is actually building his Catalyst, so he will be building a little bit of MR soon. And Udyr doesn't notice this ward at Dragon, so that's kind of puts him in a bad position. He doesn't even see it. Actually, no, he does see it, but he's not getting it.
With this Fiddlesticks, without his ultimate, they're not really worried about anybody coming over the wall right now, as they're just going to take this Dragon.
Ooh, Graves almost got that. That was really close.
That was extremely close, but without that Fiddlesticks ultimate to really have to worry about as he popped it in the middle of the bottom lane, I'm sorry, where they just kind of kept him waiting in that bush. TGF was basically like, well, if there's no ultimate we have to worry about, let's just pull it out a little bit and take this Dragon for free. And that's exactly what they did.
Never pull out. Man, never pull out.
Hey, you said it, not me. You said it, not me.
And we see Udyr actually coming back in middle here to get a gank, and he does have red buff, and he does have an Oracle, so this Ryze will be forced to go down river where Alistar and Tristana could pick him up unless he wants to flash over this wall, which he will be doing. So that is a wasted flash for Ryze. He is kind of trying to tease him a little bit. Maybe they'll back off thinking he'll flash, but that is a summoner down for him now, so he will be easily ganked. And actually see Warwick at top lane actually doing some really good hurt onto this Shyvana, but he just does not get her low enough. He did get exhausted. Shyvana actually just ulting away. She should be able to get away. This Warwick really needs to back off. He will die to these towers and to her if he tries to stay, because she just has the speed, and I really would have liked to see her come back in, but we see Udyr coming in from jungle to actually pick him off, and they will be meeting head-to-head here, so Warwick's flash is down, and he should be dying here.
Yeah, absolutely should be. That Shyvana was very smart popping the ultimate after he popped the flash. Udyr's just going to strike away at him with that bear stance and everything. Just getting a little in there. Or it can't really get away from that. And once you yell at someone as Udyr, they really can't get away.
And this Fiddlesticks actually ulting over to this Udyr, and Udyr actually starts running away. Fiddlesticks popping the flash, but so does Udyr. And that is another Fiddlesticks ult that is kind of wasted at the moment.
I just think probably TGF saw them coming in by that Baron. They do have that ward over there. It does not exactly see into the Baron area, but it will be seeing anybody walking through the river up there. So they knew Fiddlesticks is in that position. Udyr had the flash to bait out the ultimate, and so far Fiddlesticks is 0 for 2 on those ultimates right now, and that's combined with the early counter jungling to put him behind after that blue buff was taken. Oh, I'm sorry.
I missed that one too.
We completely missed Orianna just destroying this Ryze in the middle once again. I didn't even see like the health bars and everything. They put that into helpless casters out. Those little health bars flashing on the sides and everything. I can't even see it. She just burst him down somehow.
Yeah, I was actually looking at CS at the moment, so I kind of wanted to point out that Warwick's doing a really good job keeping up to par with Shyvana, and this Fiddlestick overextending a little bit does clear that Udyr off of him, but he will be dying here. But this Udyr is getting extremely low. It does get picked off by that Warwick. Fiddlesticks goes down to that Shyvana ultimate, and they are chasing this Warwick down, who will be backing off. And unfortunately, that Orianna wasn't able to get that blue. And unfortunately, that Udyr did die with his oracles. So overall, it was actually really worth it for Fooox.
But they are going to be stealing this blue buff from Fiddlesticks once again. So now that only makes 1 blue for Fiddlesticks and 2 blues for TGF coming out of Fox's side of the jungle. So the blue buff on their side is still up, and I expect Udyr to be donating that to Orianna as soon as he's back up too. So that'd be 2 blue buffs for TGF, and that Fiddlesticks just not having an easy time in the jungle. That's what we were talking about earlier. He is extremely slow in the jungle and a little easily counters. Meanwhile, we saw Warwick going on top of the Shyvana. She was getting really low. I actually paid attention to that one this time.
Oh, it's all good. I got that one this time too. And one thing I want to point out with CS, that Warwick's really keeping up with Shyvana top lane, and I'm quite surprised and really happy, because that Warwick can be really an immovable object if he's able to get a couple of items. And I'm really hoping to see him get to that point, because it'll make for a really interesting fight. And we're seeing that Graves is actually a little bit behind this Tristana. Not too much, but it is noticeable that Tristana does have her BF sword, and will be going for her IE. And we're also looking at Orianna, who has 114, or not 114, sorry. We see 118 CS compared to Ryze's 82. And I actually want to check out the status of Ryze's tier, which is at 316 mana. So he's on his way, but he just does not have that mana he needs yet to do extreme damage. In about 5 to 10 minutes, he should be really hurting. But Orianna does have that Rod of Ages and does have a nuisance large rod, so she will be definitely putting on the pain against this Ryze, who really needs to get his MR to kind of stay in lane.
That Ryze actually was kept down by those constant Udyr ganks in the middle. We saw like Udyr was just forcing him back, Orianna picking up a kill here or there. That is really even noticing how she was doing it. But that has kept Ryze's tier down to, that 300 mana range. And normally you probably want to up around like the 400, closing on 500s. He did get that on his first back. He actually went back early to get the tier and then go back into lane because of it. So, just being kept down by those constant Udyr ganks, might even lose his tower now as Fiddlesticks and Ryze are going to be closing in on this Orianna.
Some action on top, sorry, Warwick, Udyr and Shyvana diving, and Warwick does ulti that Udyr, and Shyvana gets a really nice ultimate off to really stop him from ulting that Udyr. And it looks like Shyvana, actually would have gone down if she didn't have flash, but they do get that kill. And that ult was a little late from Shyvana, but maybe she was, didn't have the rage yet to do it, and I kind of just squeaked her.
Maybe she's just trying to save it in a 2v1 situation. Not a terrible idea, but they're going to get Warwick. They're going to get a tower because of it.
And sorry, we see some action on the middle. Check out Orianna. She's actually hurting this Ryze pretty well. Does miss her ultimate, though, and Fiddlesticks comes in and will be able to pick up this kill. Really close. There we go. And he does get that blue buff back. So really good job by Fiddlesticks. He waited a little too long for that ulti, but they were able to pick up that kill at least and take her killing spree. So that's an extra 399 gold for that Fiddlesticks, who really needs it.
That Fiddlesticks is now 1 for 3 on his ultimates altogether, ladies and gentlemen.
Actually,
slowly
1 for 4.
1 for 4? Oh, I missed one.
I believe. No. Sorry, 1 for 3. You're right. My bad.
I don't care. He hit one. That was the point.
Well, he still is a force to reckon with late game, no matter what. And wow, Graves almost picking up his Tristana, who had to pop heal to stay alive. But Graves is he's hurting so bad. Once that Alistair's combo's down, he can really push onto that Tristana and just hurt him since he. Actually, no, Tristana is approaching the level she needs to actually have more range than Graves, so she will be able to harass a little harder than him. But Graves is always strong. Late game, mid game, early game, just because of his abilities. And they had to nerf him a little bit, which I think they might need to a little bit more just to kind of put him in line.
I don't know, though. He is getting a huge bonus on that Blood Boil from Nunu. As you see, he's just laying down the pain without even having the same items as Tristana. I'm really going to chalk that up to the double attack speed. He's probably getting in about 1.5 hits per Tristana hit. As we see, Fooox going in for this dragon attempt, but the entire team of TGF is right there going to the engagement. There's chaos all around. I can't even really see. It looks like they're focusing down Warwick as Shyvana is going to pick up that kill, then falling onto Ryze as he was not able to get out of there in time. He's going to wind up falling as well. Nunu just trying to do whatever he can. Not enough as Alistar picks up the kill on him, and Tristana actually going over the wall at Dragon, picking up the ace as Graves falls as well. A 5-0 in favor of TGF on top of taking the Dragon from Fooox.
Yeah, I was actually watching Tristana with that jump. She jumped over to get that Fiddlesticks, and I believe she ulted him to actually kill him, and then just switched right to that Graves, jump back on top of him, and took him down quick as possible. And now they got Dragon, they got mid tower, and now they're getting Baron, so they're just getting a huge gold lead here. And we need to see something out of Fooox here. We need to see some defensive warding. Sorry, I'm shifting my chair. Some defensive warding. They kind of need to turtle up now because they are, over 10k gold behind. 11k gold now.
Yeah. We saw that they're trying to make some sort of move by taking that Dragon, but it was sufficiently warded, and they actually did not have the ward coverage on the top lane or anything to see where TGF was positioning themselves, and they're actually positioned right where the rest of their team was, over by Dragon. So I do agree, Fooox really needs to get their ward coverage down in order to really bounce back into this one. If you could see where they are on the map, then you also know where they are not on the map, and you can make your judgment moves a lot clearer that way. So I don't know.
See where they are and where they aren't.
This is true.
To see where they are.
If you know where they are, you know where to go. And if you control the map, you can control the game.
Yeah, and TGF had a lot of money backing out into this. Alistair had over, I think it was 2,600 gold when he backed. So he picked up his mobility boots. He's working towards a Shiralia. And he's really going to be a hard initiate for them with that boots mobility, with that movement speed. And Orianna actually picked up almost the final part of her Rabadon. So actually it's a blue pot too. Because it looks like they really want to take some towers here. They're really, they're potting up. And they want to be super aggressive to get something done with this Baron, which, I mean, with how far they're ahead at the moment, is a really smart idea to kind of push your advantage.
But we do see on the bottom lane here, TGF getting a little cocky as they did last game with that Kog'Maw Nunu composition. We saw Tristana trying to 2v1 Graze and Nunu having to pop a rocket jump to get out of there, and then being healed back up from a little bit above that half health. So even though they have Baron buff and they are in a decent amount of a lead, we did see TGF get a little overconfident last game. And it almost cost them a lot, but we're going to have to see if they're able to reel it back in. You did say they're potting up. It looks like they want to push down towers. Orianna's coming over here taking her blue buff for herself. Udyr is zoning out Warwick in the middle
Fiddle's ulting in, and Tristana backs out. Alistair actually taking the heat of it, and might go down here to 4 members of Fooox. But Swift does come in to help him out with that protect, and Tristana just doing immense damage to that Graves, finishes off with an ultimate, and does have her jump back up again, but I have a feeling that she will just be chilling back a little bit. Udyr does come, and we might see this tower go down really soon, and maybe even a dive. I'm kind of hoping. And we see top lane Shyvana just pushing that second tower down again. Not even worried about that Warwick, having a 2-level advantage over him, and has almost her wit's end done.
This is the same exact thing we saw last game from TGF. The split push, 4 versus 5 on the bottom, causing one of their members to go back up top. They had the superior gold advantage. We see up here, Shyvana is really beating on this Warwick. He has to pop an ultimate to try to deal some damage. She's going to be able to get out of there okay with that burnout, I believe. But we saw this last game, taking down 3 towers and winding up coming out ahead in that team fight just because of one mistake from the opposing team. That mistake this case being
that flash from Shyvana. Sorry. Oh, I was watching that Shyvana try to escape the entire time, and she flashed over that river wall to kind of escape, but she did get feared by that Fiddlesticks and killed. Oh, I was so close. And sorry, see Udyr actually trying to flash and get that Rise, who just flashes backwards, and that's a really good job by him. He really denied that Udyr's flash, so now they don't have to worry about a hard initiate from Udyr, but they still have to worry about that hard initiate from Alistair, who has those boots of mobility.
But unfortunately, that Fiddlesticks going up there to help out, and that kill on Shyvana is going to leave 4 from TGF, still at Baron buff on the bottom. They might wind up taking down this inhibitor. Look at that Alistar going with a nice pulverized headbutt combo, catching both members of Fooox. Orianna's going to pick up a kill on that Nunu. This inhibitor is going to go down, and TGF, they're probably just going to walk back out of there, take their advantage. Oh, no, they're just going to turn on to this Warwick, who got a little too overconfident. Orianna picks up a kill there. Flash pulverized from Alistar. Trying to get a kill on that Fiddlesticks. He has to pop his ultimate to live through those tower hits he was accidentally taking there.
Did you see that Fiddlesticks flash mid-air?
No, I did not.
My screen.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, he got pummeled up, or pulverized up, and then he flashed mid-air away. That was interesting.
I thought it was a headbutt combo coming out from that Alistar, but I guess the flash did it.
Yeah,
it was. Backwards combo.
That was kind of cool. Sorry. Just wanted to point that out.
That's extremely cool. I just thought Alistar messed up his combo there for a second.
And while we're seeing Orianna picks up her Rabadon's, I can't click on that. And she does have 417 AP. She's really going to hurt. Their Baron is out, so 3 minutes on Baron. It's going to be up around 26:30. And we're seeing Tristana actually got her Phantom Dancer. She's building towards her last Whisper right now. Udyr and Shyvana both have their wits' end, so they're really able to stop most of the damage from Fiddlesticks, Rise, and even Warwick, who really does a lot of magic damage squeak with his passive change. And yeah, my voice just squeaked.
That's okay. It was adorable. Don't worry.
But
yeah, that Warwick going to be dealing a lot of damage between Hungering Strike and his passive and everything. So much damage coming out of that Warwick, but it is magic damage, so those wits ends are going to do a lot of work. We see TGF constantly picking up the Shyvana-Udyr combination with the double wits end, and we saw last game that Jarvan...
Sorry, in the middle, we see Fiddlesticks ultimate over the wall with the Warwick ultimate onto that Udyr, and Udyr is taking a lot of damage, but he's not going down that quick, but he will die here, and that is a really good advantage for Fooox. They should be able to actually stop this push here, hopefully. They will lose that tower, but hopefully not that inhibitor if they all head over there. But that was a really good ultimate from Warwick and Fiddlesticks to kind of time that out and really work or have some good synergy there with that. And they do lose that inhibitor, unfortunately. So that trade was in favor of TGF, unfortunately for Fooox.
TGF loves their split pushing here. They keep sending 1 or 2 people into a different lane to distract the team. They wind up devoting all their resources to picking up kills on those 1 or 2 players. And then the rest of their team just pushes through and gets a tower, or gets an inhibitor, or gets both in this case. So they really have this down to a science. This is, like I said, the second game we see them do the same formula to extreme success. So props to TGF for this. But as you said, the ward coverage from Fooox not being in the best spots right now. They really need to get that in order to figure out where this team's going to be going and how to do it. They do have this ward over by Dragon, but they're completely out of position. Can't even do anything as TGS going to be taking yet another free Dragon in this game. And Fooox really needs to pull it together. They do have the resources to take down people in engagements where their team comes out ahead in positioning, as we saw in the middle over there. They took down that Udyr. Obviously, Udyr not being the best target to focus down, as he took forever to wind up dying in that case, but focusing down on that Orianna or even that Tristana could wind up shaping them into a healthier team fight situation. They could just pick and choose, pick up a couple kills on those champions, and then fall back to just ride the advantage into a little bit later stages of the game. They could come back despite the deficit they're facing right now.
Yeah, I was definitely listening to, or I was listening to everything you're saying, but I was definitely listening to the part where you're talking about where they are able to take someone out of TGF, but the thing is they had to blow 2 ults to kill him. Like he just got more tankier when he backed out. And I don't really know if they're able to actually get in there and get the champions they need to kill. Like it's really hard to get to Tristana with this Udyr, Shyvana, and Alistar, and they are actually preparing for Baron here, which is going to be up in about 10 seconds. But yeah, like Tristana just got her last whisper, so she can take anyone that goes after her. And you know they don't, or Fooox really doesn't have a way to actually hurt them too much. Like Graves really has to be the one that does the hurting to the 3 tanky characters, and hopefully Fiddlesticks get a really nice ulti on all 5 of them with a Nunu ult to kind of keep them there. And fortunately for them, TGF actually did get another Baron, so they are up by, I'm not even gonna count that. It's like 18,000 gold ish.
It's 18-ish thousand gold right now.
28?
And unfortunately,
18.
Fooox did 18. Fooox did not have any wards anywhere. As their last ward just expiring over by the Wraith area of River for their own side of the map. So extreme lack of vision might just be their downfall in this one, as they have no idea where TGF has been this entire game because of it.
And now TGF is just going to wait for the lanes to push, and once someone goes over there to stop them, they're just going to push this middle tower down, and it's pretty much a solid, it's going to be pretty much a solid victory for them now. Like, there's no real way that Fooox can come back unless they get a really nice engage here, get all this gold from the killing sprees, and kind of push out.
Ooh, that Orianna is dealing so much damage. I was going to say a really good Nunu ultimate could turn the tides of the fight, but they have 2 or 3 ways to get that Nunu out of his ultimate, so I don't exactly know if Fooox is going to be able to come out ahead. But here it comes. They're going to be going in on this Warwick. Alistar getting a nice full combo down. Orianna's going to pick up the kill. Nunu going for that ultimate, but he is pulled out of it by the Orianna ultimate as she picks up a double kill on this fight. Graves is falling back, actually trying to fight off the super minions that are chasing him. So it is now a 5 versus 3 right now in favor of TGF. They're taking down the Nexus turrets. Rise, Graves, and Fiddlesticks trying to contest anything. Alistar actually coming in, getting a pulverized headbutt combo down onto those remaining champions. Tristana picks up a kill, and I think that's just going to be it right now. TGF taking another game and Go4LoL.
Yep.
Can I hit the button?
If you want to.
I always want to hit the button.
That sounds like Ollie almost.
Sounds like what?
Ollie from Ollie Williams from Family Guy?
Oh yeah.
Almost.
It's a good game.
Looking at it again, TGF has such a huge goal advantage over them. And that, that Grace actually had a pretty good farm, but unfortunately he wasn't able to get any kills like Tristana did. He has 224 saves compared to Tristana's 230, but Tristana just has those 6 kills over him that really, makes her shine. Graves wasn't able to pick up his full Phantom Dancer yet, but if they could have held on Turtle a little longer, potentially they could have really turned the fight around. I mean, that Fiddlesticks only had his Zonias, that Warwick was getting tanky with his Wits End and Frozen Heart, and that Rise his mana was just building on up, but
like you said in the champion select, I can't help but feel like maybe Nunu wasn't the best support to be throwing in the bottom lane with Graves. I believe, if they went with a Sona, they would have had the extra poke. That Tristana was getting harassed a decent amount as Graves was just dealing enough damage between Quick Draw and Buckshot, getting some really good shots off on Tristana. That extra poke from Sona, could have snowballed into a kill or 2 on the bottom lane, or at least made Tristana play a little bit more passively. And then into the later stages of the game, in those team fights where Nunu's ultimate really wasn't able to do much because Orianna, Shyvana, Udyr, and Alistar could all knock him out of channeling his ultimate. Someone with a Sona that might have been able to just counter CC their entire team, especially because TGF liked pushing 3 or 4 champions down a single lane. Landing a good Sona ultimate would have been able to crowd control at least 2 of them in those engagements, and I think that's what they might have needed. It's like you said, with that Fiddlesticks ultimate and everything, it would have been devastating, but unfortunately, that Nunu, he was able to really help out with Graves with the Blood Boil. That was obviously a lot of help on the bottom, and probably most of the reason why Graves is able to keep up in farm as well as harassment on that Tristana. But when it came down to the end of the game there, we saw Nunu tried to activate an ultimate. He just got hit out of it by whoever was closest to him, and unfortunately he just wasn't able to do as much as I think maybe a different support champion could have done.
Yeah, TGF just has such a strong engage in team fights that Fox really needed. Like even a Jana would have worked really well. Just someone to
Mm.
kind of stop the fight and be like, hey, hey, we're not ready yet. Hold on, you know. And I mean, Sona with the Fiddlestick ultimate obviously would be extremely strong, but I don't know. They kind of did get counter picked a little bit because Nunu was I think third pick and Alistair was the last pick for TGF. So TGF kind of came prepared there in terms of counter picking that support at least.
Yes, definitely. But after all, we see TGF moving on into yet another round of Go4LoL as their composition was once again just really out farming the enemies. As we take a look at it, that Shyvana 179 farm, Warwick did a very good job keeping up at 146 towards the end stages of that game. That Udyr in the jungle at 125, the Fiddlesticks falling off only about 103. Justana and Graves were very, very close to each other. But then we take a quick look at the middle lane where Orianna was ahead by about 50 or so CS on that rise. The constant pressure from that Udyr, that's something you normally don't see that much, is an Udyr really opting to go for ganks. Normally see him farming up jungle, counter jungling a little bit, and then going where the team kind of needs him and going to where they are getting ganked. But this Udyr from Koala coming out is super, super aggressive, and I like it. I like it a lot.
Sounds like you like him a lot.
I don't know, man. If he counter jungles every single game, I will hop on the Koala bandwagon.
I didn't know there was a bandwagon for that.
Yeah, they got a Facebook page and everything.
That is true. I'm good. If you're good, I've got nothing else to kind of say about. Actually, I do have one more thing to say. Is that I believe OptimusTom actually will be following TGF for the next match. I unfortunately cannot. So if you give me your link to your stream, I will actually put that up on the stream. You guys should go check that out. And the next match hopefully will be starting soon. Let me get. Actually, I can't see the brackets right now. Let me open up something to see if I can find the brackets real quick and see if. Oh, I still have this up. So borderline professional. And see if they're actually going to be playing really soon. So give me 1 second, and you can talk real quick in the meantime.
Oh, well, I mean, I could talk for days and days and days, but yes, I will be trying to follow TGF through the remaining parts of the tournament, at least for one more game. I believe they're going to be going on, was this round 5 coming up? I'm going to say 5. I'm going to say 5.
It is round 5.
Oh, man, I'm so good at this game.
And it will be playing against Rev. So that match should be happening. This is, I believe, the quarterfinals. Finals, semifinals. Yeah, this is the quarterfinals right here. So if they win this, they will be in the semis. And hopefully, I don't know if it'll probably happen again where if they do win, the NESL casters will probably end up casting that game and you will be unable to. That's happened to me plenty of times in the past. So.
Oh, man. Oh, man, we're getting to the end of the tournament. Let's start casting. Oh, come on, guys.
Oh, they cast the whole time. They just follow, like, the really known teams, which, I don't know, it's kind of not fair, in my opinion. Like, you don't give the other teams any, like, publicity. It's not really cool. Like, they need the publicity. Yeah,
that's where we come into play. We're following TGF, and I don't know, it's been some very entertaining matches. I like these guys a lot.
Like yeah, they're actually really good. They just kind of don't get a lot of publicity, unfortunately. And
that's fine. We'll change that.
I don't know. It's just the NACL casters kind of follow the teams that they know we're going to win. So, like, what's the point of watching that? You want to watch the good matches, the hard matches that are going to be, like, really close. And it's just kind of like, why would you follow, Reflex playing against a team that, like, you never really heard of and, is like 1,400, 1,300 ELO. Like, why would you want to cast that game kind of thing? But well, it gives us something to cast.
They did relent the 4-0 versus Reflex matchup that was a little bit earlier in the tournament, so...
Actually, wait, I'm sorry. Well, I believe they didn't cast that, right? Silver Dirge and Rapid.
Yeah, Silver Dirge and Rapid stepped in for that one, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that would have been a perfect game for them to cast, but, I don't know. I don't know. That's above my pay grade.
Daylight savings time, right? We'll blame daylight savings time.
God, yeah. All right, so for everyone...